Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you a dome domination gameplay using the G36C. Now, today's commentary is going to be all about the gameplay, and it's going to be focusing on playing against a group of players or a style of gameplay that makes life as difficult as possible. Because in this gameplay, me and I think it was two of the people in the party, or a couple of other people in the party, were up against 6 players who were absolutely determined to camp, and camp. So what you saw happen in this gameplay was the opposition players would go and find the biggest, bushiest bush they can find and hide in there. They would get their tack inserts down, they'd put them behind them, they'd put claymores down, they just wouldn't move. And when you're playing a team like this in domination, you know victory is assured because these guys didn't seriously contest an objective the entire match. The only objectives they captured are the ones they spawned by, because Dome, being a very, very small map, has a few more problems with the spawns than most other maps, because domination normally puts people around the objectives they control. But as it happens a couple of times in this gameplay, if one team has all of the objectives, the opposition, the other team, spawns randomly. And because Dome is such a small map, the vast majority of the time you're going to spawn quite near an objective. So the only objective these guys would capture was when they died, they would be put by one and they'd capture that. So basically, we're playing a team of players who has no desire to compete for the victory. They are sitting back, they are camping their backsides off, and they are all running support kill streaks. And you see later on in the gameplay, I actually have an AC-130 taken down by an EMP, which, in my opinion, is an absolutely ridiculous support kill streak. I mean, EMP can take down every single kill streak on the map in one. It can blind everyone in the enemy team, but I think it's 45 seconds. I can't quite remember the time off the top of my head, but I think it's around 45 seconds. So for that to be in support is ridiculous, because a guy could go 20 and 134 and still get an EMP in his gameplay. So in my opinion, an EMP is a bit of an overpowered support kill streak. But let's get back to the gameplay, because when you're up against a team who are just this determined to play like scrubs, it's really, really difficult to get a good game going, because you're virtually guaranteed the victory. As long as you've got 2 hands on the controller and you're watching the screen, you're virtually 99% guaranteed to win. But when you're playing people who are this determined to make life difficult, you are really going to struggle to get any rhythm. And you can see several times in the gameplay here, you know, you'll get people die on 3 kills, you know, trying to get a little bit of a streak going, and then there'll be one off a predator, or just got the predator right there, and they'll get killed by a guy who spawns right next to the person he's just killed. So, you know, it's very, very frustrating sometimes to get into a game like this. And what I like to do whenever I find myself in this situation is to fall back to a class and a weapon that I'm very, very comfortable with, because you need a lot of things to go into your favour in this style of gameplay. Because once the enemy team have got it into their head that they're not going to compete, you can't use the traditional domination tactics to win a game, because what you would normally do is you just set the cordon up, get a perimeter around one objectives, hold the enemy back off them, and just rinse and repeat. But when they are so determined to camp, you can't do this. So what you have to do is you have to be a little bit more mobile around the map, and the traditional 2 capture points rule of domination goes out the window a little bit, because you've got to sort of grab whatever you can to try and get the game over with as fast as possible. Because even if you triple cap these guys, and you see several times in the gameplay where they are triple capped, they still don't move to try and capture that many objectives. They put tack inserts down in the dome building, which is their own personal little camp spot, and they camp heavily, really, really heavily around A-Dom, pretty much the entire gameplay. But like I was saying, what I like to do in this situation is get a class that I rely on and I really enjoy using. And a G36 is a weapon that I really do enjoy, because it just has a nice feel to it. And I put this weapon in the same category as the M4 carbine. You know, it's a weapon that you don't see a lot of people use, because most people who use an assault rifle will immediately go for the ACR, the Type 95, the SCAR, and those are sort of the tier 1 assault rifles. I class the G36C as just as good as those assault rifles. I really do think it's a fantastic weapon. But what you see a lot of times is people just completely miss it by. They don't use it at all. But what I do is I really enjoy this weapon, and that's why I try and use it as often as possible. And my own personal combination for using it with is a red dot sight and a silencer, because the G36 is a pretty accurate weapon anyway, and whilst it does benefit from using kick, I think you can get away using it with just the dual attachments with the red dot and the silencer instead of using it with kick. And I think the silencer, when you are playing a team that is just so negative, gives you that little bit of extra flexibility, because the enemy team don't know where you are when you're using a silencer. And I know this sounds very, very basic, but you'd be amazed of the people who don't realise this. You know, you get people who set up a class to flank you, and then they don't run a silencer on it, and they'll kill one enemy or kill one of your teammates, and you immediately know where they are. So what I like to do is, when I am playing a team this defensive minded and this determined to camp, is I run a silencer, because that gives me just a little bit more time to pick one or two of them off before they realise where I am. And if I get into my head and get it nailed down where the enemy are camping on the map, you really can use that silencer to get in close and try and disrupt their camping pattern a bit. Because what happens is, when you get one team that's just very, very determined to camp, the gameplay can get very, very linear. You know, you get one team on one side of the map, the other team on the other side of the map, and you just meet in the middle and battle. Because the other team, the enemy team, are not flipping anything up. They're not changing their tactics. They are just staying in the same spot again and again and again. So you aren't going to get the slightly fluid changes that you get in the normal domination gameplay. But what you are going to get is a lot more head-on battles against a team who are set up to camp. So they'll be on their head glitch spot, they'll be determined to camp, they aren't going to go for the objectives. So what you need to do in this situation is stack the gunfight in your favour, and the main way to do that against a team that's playing incredibly negatively is by using a silencer. So that's what I like to do whenever I'm playing those guys. Another thing I like to do, and I have extolled the virtues of this combination many, many times in my current commentaries, is use recon and hardline. I mean, this combination is just heaven sent for dealing with campers, because you can just send one flash grenade into a heavy congested camping area, you can flash basically their entire team, they all appear on the radar as triangles, and then you get assist points towards your point streaks just by your teammates killing them off. And if you combine the recon hardline combo on 3 or 4 people, it really does turn into an absolutely incredible combination, because Dome is such a small map that 3 or 4 flashes can pretty much cover the entire outside. So if you've got 2 or 3 teammates using hardline and recon against a team who are really camping pretty hard, you can get those flashes out, you can disrupt their rhythm, and you can make it a lot easier for you on the offense, because it's always easier to defend an objective than it is to attack it. So occasionally you get these teams of campers who just set up around an objective really on their head glitches and aren't going to move, and the recon hardline combo is fantastic for those people who want to be aggressive, because it enables you to just pinpoint the enemy straight away, get them into your comfort zone, and then you can calmly go around with your silenced assault rifle and pick them off without the rest of their teammates realising where you are. Because as soon as you put that silencer on the weapon and combine it with recon and hardline, you're going to flash the enemy so they can't see you, you're going to have a silencer so they can't actually get you on the radar, and you're just going to kill them before they even realise you're there. So that is my #1 tip for doing well against a team that is really camping hard. Get a silencer on your weapon, get recon and hardline out, and make sure you're using a weapon that you feel very, very comfortable with, because there's nothing worse than playing a bunch of campers and then having a weapon that you can't trust in a gunfight. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed the commentary. Thanks again for watching, and as always, have a great day.